Greetings, my friends. I trust you're all doing well. Join me in this latest video as we delve into the art of cultivating blackberries, covering everything from the initial planting to the bountiful harvest, including essential practices such as pruning and maintenance for cultivating splendid bushes that promise a fruitful yield. Throughout the video, we'll also explore diverse methods for propagating your blackberry plants. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on my latest content. If you appreciate this type of video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to motivate me to continue translating content from my French channel. And lastly, share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know which cultivation guide you'd like to see in the next video or ask any questions you might have. I'm here to help. Now, without further ado, let's kick off the video. Enjoy the journey. 1. Presentation. The fruiting bramble is a deciduous fruit-bearing shrub belonging to the Rosaceae family. It is a very hardy plant, up to -13°F, easy to maintain, and fast-growing. At maturity, the bramble can measure between 6.5 and 16.4 feet, depending on the varieties. Note: do not confuse the fruiting bramble with the mulberry, which belongs to another family, Morus. The mulberry will appear in the form of a shrub or a tree, and its fruits are generally less flavorful than those of the fruiting bramble. The bramble will bloom from spring to late summer, depending on the varieties and climate, for a harvest from summer to fall, also depending on the varieties and climate. Two. Soil exposure. The bramble is very hardy and can withstand temperatures down to -13°F. It prefers a sunny to partially shaded exposure and thrives in sandy, deep, humus-rich soil that is not overly waterlogged. It can be planted in ornamental gardens, orchards, or at the edge of wooded areas. Tip: although self-fertile, thornless blackberries bear more abundantly if two different varieties are planted not too far from each other. 3. Planting. 2 months before planting. Prepare for planting by either digging individual holes measuring approximately 19.7 inches in all directions or digging a trench that is approximately 19.7 inches wide by 19.7 inches deep along the entire length you intend to cultivate. Mix a special small fruit fertilizer into the excavated soil and then backfill without compacting. As the bramble requires support, begin installing the framework that will serve as your support. Planting is ideally done from fall to spring, during the vegetation's dormancy and outside the freezing period. The plants should be spaced 6.6 to 13.1 feet apart, depending on the vigor of the chosen varieties. Multiplication, on the other hand, can be done through cuttings, layering, and division, but the method yielding the best results is layering. See guide on my channel. At planting. Reopen the hole or trench you prepared 2 months ago, but this time just slightly larger than the root ball's volume. Place a layer of gravel, approximately 4 inches, at the bottom of the hole for drainage. Soak your root ball in water for a few minutes before removing it from the pot, then position it so that its surface is at the same level as the ground. Backfill and tamp well around the root ball with a stick or other tool to eliminate air pockets. Create a basin and water generously. 4. Pruning. At planting. Prune all branches to approximately 11.8 to 15.7 inches above the ground to encourage branching and thus have a denser bramble. Every year. At the end of winter, cut all the stems that produced fruit the previous year to ground level. Tie the remaining branches, distributing them well over the surface of your support, and shorten those that begin to touch the neighboring bramble. If you notice any side shoots, cut them above the second bud from their base. 5. Maintenance care. In early spring, at the start of vegetation, apply a special small fruit fertilizer by incorporating it into the soil with a light digging or scratching. Install natural mulch, a layer of decomposed manure or straw, which will limit the appearance of weeds, keep your soil cool during periods of heat, and nourish your plant as it decomposes. Throughout the summer, tie the shoots in a fan shape on their support as they grow, leaving an empty space in the center where you will tie the vigorous shoots from the base, which will replace the branches that have produced and will be cut the following year. 6. Harvest storage. Although most varieties are self-fertile, blackberry bushes will have better production if two plants are planted not too far from each other. Harvesting will take place from summer to early fall, depending on the varieties and climate. Pick your blackberries when they are well colored and begin to soften, ideally in the morning. Since the fruit ripening is staggered, you will need to harvest every 2 to 3 days. You can later store your blackberries in the refrigerator for a few days or freeze them, as they freeze very well. 7. Propagating. One can propagate, layer, and divide the blackberry bush, but the most reliable method is layering. Propagation. In winter, practice hardwood propagation. Plant a section of a branch that is approximately 7.87 inches in length and approximately 0.2 to 0.39 inches in diameter in the ground. Bury it halfway. Wait for the leaves to develop in spring before moving it to its final location. Division. In spring, you can perform the division of the woody base. Using a digging fork, lever out the entire clump, being careful not to damage the roots. Divide it into clumps with a spade or a well-sharpened knife. They should all have shoots and roots. Replant them immediately in their final location. Water. Layering. The blackberry naturally tends to layer, provided you allow the ends of the long stems to trail on the ground. It then remains only to take the new plant. Otherwise, practice air layering at the end of summer. Choose a long and flexible stem that has not flowered. Work the soil where it will be buried. Make a 0.39 or 0.79 inch incision along the length of the portion to be buried and remove all the leaves on this segment. Bury the stem where you made the incision. If necessary, hold it in place with clips or a stone. Raise the end of the branch and tie it to a stake. You can detach the layering in spring and cultivate it in a pot until the following autumn. This video is now concluded. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to the channel to motivate me to continue translating all the videos from my French channel. Also, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Finally, leave a comment to let me know which cultivation guide you'd like to see in the next video or if you have any questions. I'll respond with pleasure. See you soon for the next video. Goodbye.